I wonder how people will feel about Gert being in the background.
Hopefully, they enjoy Gert as much as I do.
Look at him. He's just so orange.
Very.
I don't even have the energy to tell you it's a cold open. Just what a week, man. What?
What a week.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with the Seattle Kraken. It's day 405. Another trade has hit the tower. Not really. Um, Myself, Jayd, bobblehead Philip Grubauer join you today, and Gert over there. There he
Yep.
is. The gang's all here. Um, Sorry, folks. It's been a long week in Seattle sports, and obviously, imitation, is the best form of flattery, but no one can do it like we're doing it. Um, and with that boasting of what we're doing, there is the weight, the eternal crushing weight of how many teams are here. And when they all get busy at the same time, it's a very daunting thing. That's why I used Ghost Energy. No, sorry. Please sponsor me. I will go through your stuff like crazy. Yeah, man. So we did our live with RJ after the trade deadline, which was kind of thrown together, but I think it went well.
Hmm.
I mean, that was fun to do. Even though we were all kind of like going through it with what
Yeah.
the week had been, right? I was just glad we were able to get that all taken care of. So we'll go over the trade deadline and then look at the games because the games feel like such a minor part of the week, considering the deadline, excuse me, and the fact that Seattle's just way out of it. It was really
Hmm.
funny after they traded Tanev and I posted our graphic and people go, "What are they doing? Are they giving up on the season?" I'm like, brother, it's over. It's
It's
done.
been over.
It's, I don't know. Do I need to hold here? I've got decent sized hands. Do you need me to hold your hand when I say this? Like, so there's that. And then maybe just some excitement for what to look forward throughout the course of the year, through the end of the year, I'm sorry, because the season will end before we know it, you
Hmm.
know. I as someone that makes the graphics on game day, people go, "Oh, they only rank 28th in shots on against per game." I'm like, no, shots for per game. I'm like, "Yes. I do this the stats graphic every single game.
Yep.
I see the trend. The trend is bad." Their goals per game actually has gone up. They're 15th in the league right now.
Wow.
Like
Impressive.
the puck, I almost said the ball. The puck is going in the net. If the ball, maybe it would be better for them if it was a ball. Maybe it'd help them.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, their goals per game has gone up. Their expected goals is 30th still. Their shots for is still like 28th. It's bad. And they're way out of it. So we've got what? 82 minus 65. They got 17 games left, Jade. Can you believe that?
No, that sounds fake.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah. So that's why I kind of want to talk about what to look forward to, with the season winding down. Then of course we'll look ahead to the games that will be coming up next. So first off, it's always funny whenever I look at a trade deadline like tracker and they have the trades from like earlier in the season. Like they threw ESPN's trade tracker for the deadline, put the Kako Morgan trade. I said no, that
Hmm.
doesn't count. Like, no, no. Um, the first major thing, I will stop using the trade hit the tower joke. I slipped one of those into the Mariners show, and Brittany was hysterical about it. On the 5th, around noon, the Kraken traded away Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand in a deal to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, this was interesting because Jade and I have talked about it. Just about everybody's talked about it. Um, no matter how many people will put out trade deadline targets the week of the deadline and act like it's new information. Um, Yanni Gourde expected.
Hmm.
Oliver Bjorkstrand, not entirely shocking, right?
Yep.
But interesting that they got packaged together is what I'll say, right? Because Jade and I have, for the past few weeks, right, have gone over who will, who has value, outside of the UFAs. So the Kraken send over these two guys. I believe in it was the 2026 fifth round pick. Ooh. To Tampa Bay, as Tampa Bay gets Johnny Gord back and they load up, as it seems like there's an arms race down in Florida.
Hmm.
And the Kraken receive first rounders in 26 and 27, a second rounder this year, and forward Michael Asimont. We'll get to Asimont in a second. Um, this was a three-team trade that I didn't know until later, that included the Red Wings because Seattle will retain half of Gord's salary. Detroit will retain 25% of it, and because the Lightning are so cash strapped, they only get to pay 25%, which nice, good for them. No retaining on Bjorkstrand, which is a win. I'm
Hmm.
surprised they got away with that. Um, for their troubles, the Red Wings received a draft pick in the arrangement, which is kind of funny to me. Um, yeah, I mean, this is a deal that, I mean, two first rounders. Oh, that's right. And with the first rounders, there's protection on those first rounders because they're top 10 protected. So if either of them um mo if either moves back and becomes a 2028 pick due to being in the top 10, Seattle receives an additional third round pick in that 2028 draft. If both of them slide to 2028 and 2029, Seattle uh, receives a third round pick in 28 and 29. So you you move a guy who is going to become a free agent this year. You
Hmm.
move a guy who, yes, was valuable, had a contract through next year, but there's no guarantee if he was going to be here after that. So you could have lost him in free agency, and or the fact that he's again, as I've said it on multiple occasions, whether it's on this show or on the live stream, there's an Oliver Bjorkstrand on championship team. I believe that he's a Middlesex guy. That's his
Hmm.
ceiling, right? You move those guys off for two first rounders. You don't have to retain on Bjorkstrand. Um, you've got a second round pick this year, right? And you've got protection for those first round picks. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty good. I think the biggest things, and I'll get to you, Jade, in a second. I'm not putting Jade in a corner. There's only two of us, so I can't put you in a corner. It's just you're on one side or the other.
Yeah.
Were the comments on it? Because it seemed like Kate Shefty, who was on the road trip for the Seattle Times on this one, got exclusives with Ron. Um, this was telling and it made sense kind of after the deadline passed. He said that he's not necessarily looking to move a lot of players with term, um, which only left like Brandon Tanev and Josh Mahura. He just said, I just don't think it does us any good here. And then he said, we're not looking to move Mr. McCann at this point, which shot down the fact that, and I know I had Jade, Jade's like my ace in my sleeve for this because she has her kind of eyes around the entire league, right? How people had been talking about how certain teams had called on Jared McCann, right? That not
Hmm.
Seattle was engaging in talks.
Even
Um,
on Friday morning,
hmm
uh, when I was awake for far too long, there was a bunch of um, rumors that Winnipeg was trying to get McCann, and obviously that didn't happen. But that was I saw like people were already writing articles about it and like had drafted articles and all this stuff, and I just at no point did I think truly that Ron Francis was gonna move McCann. Like there was a part of me that was like, okay, never say never. Anything can happen. He could have moved Joey for all we know. Like the possibilities are kind of endless, especially at a deadline like this was. But yeah, I saw people up to the last minute still like the deal's gonna happen. They're gonna make it work. And the whole time I just was like, no, they're not. That's not real, not happening. So that's my little 2 cents about McCann.
Yeah, no, I mean, people get wacky around the trade deadline, right? And
Mm-hmm.
especially this trade deadline with what happened.
Yeah.
You could trade away your captain of, a guy that's been there 16 years to a division rival after
Yeah.
giving him an insulting offer. God forbid that, right, Jade? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
why would, how foolish. Um, yeah, no. I mean, so that was interesting and that kind of set the tone for the other trades. Did you have any thoughts on this one? I mean, were you surprised? Again, I think the biggest surprise about it was Bjorkstrand's involved, at least to me.
I would say that was a little bit like, I guess my reaction to it was like, okay, yeah, we all knew that this was going to happen. And then I was like, wait, Bjorkstrand? And like, kind of a little like, huh, weird. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Like, it was a little bit, I didn't expect that quite as much as I did Gord. And Gord was one that I was anticipating fully. Like, I would have bet money on him going to either the Leafs or back to the Lightning. So that was one that that was not a surprise to me at all. Um, and I actually didn't anticipate getting a player in return. I was expecting like a prospect and draft picks or something. So I guess that was the more surprising part to me than anything.
Yeah, I think when the Friedman report came out about this one, um, because God, I gotta always be somewhere going somewhere when a trade deadline happens. Like I'm sitting in a coffee shop downtown and my phone starts blowing up and I said, "Oh shit."
Mm-hmm.
I thought Connor Geeky might get involved and I said, "Hey, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Two first rounders in a second. I will take though. Like I'll take
Yep.
that." And it clears
Absolutely.
some cap off the books. Like again, not to bash Bjorkstrand because again, he's a great player. I would have loved to keep him going forward, but with the value, yeah, and even Francis said uh he wasn't in a hurry to put Oliver into any deal. But he said when the value was too good to turn down, So
Which makes sense.
yeah, I mean, again, like I said with McCann, I said ultimately if it brings a better player in, a
Mm-hmm.
star, you got to do it. Like, Maverick, do you have any thoughts on this?
Do you have anything to say?
Who should have been traded? Alexiak.
Well,
We'll
yeah,
get
I'm
to
sure.
that. Yeah, no, I think my last thing on that trade is I'm just glad that Yanni Gord got to go back to Tampa
Mm-hmm.
because he was really beloved there, right? And every year since the expansion draft, we would get Lightning fans in our comments, even just randomly, usually during
Mm-hmm.
the games we played Tampa. They go, "Give us back, give him back." I'm like, "Nope."
Yep.
Mm, no, no, no.
Yeah, I'm very excited for him and his family.
Oh yeah.
I know based
That's
on all of their posts, they seem so excited to be going there. And I kept making jokes that now Bjorkstrand's beach vacation can never get ruined because he lives by the beach.
yeah. Yeah.
So I think that there's perks everywhere there,
Oh
and they
yeah.
got to go together, and
And Ron
that's always
like
good.
Ron has a history of kind of sending guys where they want to go,
Hmm.
right? Like I know uh I think you were around for that. Um there was a chat that we're in that brought up Giordano. And I remember, when it became apparent that this team in the inaugural season wasn't going to do anything, and with Giordano essentially near retirement,
Hmm.
they wanted to respect him. And so they sent him to Toronto. He wanted to play for a contender. Don't know why I picked Toronto. But anyway, yeah, they did that. Um, there's a few other things. So, and then on official deadline day, the other non-surprise was Brandon Tanev being sent to his former team, the Winnipeg Jets, for a second-round pick in 2027. He had been held out of the Nashville game on Thursday due to trade-related reasons. They basically you don't want to you don't want to damage the goods.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, there's nothing surprising about this. Like a guy that will kill penalties and bring energy. Like that Winnipeg Jets team, I don't think they need much more, and like maybe rounding out the edges,
Yeah.
and Tanev will do that, right? So, um, yeah, let me I'll round out the deadline, because everything I have to say about these guys just kind of is overall. Right after we got the announcement after the deadline passed, because for those that don't know, I need to explain this. Um, that is not being mean. It's just like people seem to be confused by it, and I want to
Hmm.
explain it. People are like, why are the Kraken posting about the Tanev trade like 2 hours after it's like reports came out about it? Reports and official are different, right? I didn't get the press release for that until when the team posts about it. There is a That's just naturally a thing anyway, because
Hmm.
teams are going to see Friedman post and be like, "Oh, we have to post the extension now."
Yep.
No, that's not a thing. There's like just like any job, like any office, like that needs to go through officially. There's paperwork, right? I remember waiting at the Iceplex to talk to Ronald McDonald, and we had to wait because even after the deadline had passed, the Tanev call had not gone through.
Yep. So the biggest thing is that teams have to be on hold with Central Registry at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and then that's why you tend to see trades trickling out following that, like the official reports of trades. But that is why you have to wait sometimes for the official reports of trades.
Yep.
Not to steal your thunder, but
No, that's right. That helps because
mhm.
that's what it is. I'm like, why are like Lamau, why are they waiting?
Yep.
They have to. Like, I think they get in trouble if they go ahead, and try to beat the process. Like we didn't know
Mhm.
that Sprong had been traded to excuse me, New Jersey for what, a seventh?
Yeah.
Until the very end of Ron's availability with us. Like
Hmm.
we were told, hey, there's like one minor thing, but that's it. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, who's getting traded minorly?
Yep.
Like, and even at the end, like Tim Booth with the Times goes, so you're trading someone from Coachella Valley, and Ron kind of smirks. He goes, yeah, that should become official any day now, or any time now. And like, I think it Friedman. I looked down at my phone after recording it, and I saw that. So,
Hmm.
um,
And the NHL actually did a pretty cool. They released it's only like a minute and a half or something video today of I think it was the Buffalo and Ottawa trade, the Norris
yeah,
for
oh yeah,
whoever, Norris for Cousins.
Cousins, yeah,
Yep. That I can, when you post the link to the podcast, I'll reply with that video because it was actually pretty cool. I like getting a look into how things work because I like to know how things work. But it was a pretty cool like minute video that they did.
yeah. I like when they do that, just so people know.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I'm like, first of all, give some more like not wait, some patience and like time and space to the people who work for these teams. Like
Yep.
the social media admins are doing their best, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
they can only do so much, especially when you're replying to them when the team is losing. They can only do
Yep.
so much. Them typing on Twitter will not make them better.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Um, so yeah, Daniel Sprong to New Jersey for a seventh, you know, the Jack Hughes replacement, Jayd. The Jack
No,
Hughes
totally.
replacement. They um stupid devils. Anyway,
Agreed.
um yeah. Like so, I mean, I think RJ, when we were talking to RJ, he said it best, is that really this um wow, I completely wiped my brain. Um, oh, he did the minimum, right? He traded Gord and Tanev, and that's expected. They got Sprong a new home because he was rotting away in Coachella Valley. Um, and they did get more value because they packaged a guy who had term. So I guess
Hmm.
it's not technically the bare minimum, but it's still like I was really hoping that Jamie Alexiak would get moved just because I think the decor needs some change. I don't think Jamie Alexiak has lived up to his current contract. I don't think he
Hmm.
plays to his size. I don't think he takes advantage of his abilities. Um, and from what I read, I thought you might have retweeted this because there's always, again, when I mentioned Jayd being like an ace up my sleeve, it's because Jayd will like retweet stuff around the league that I wouldn't even have known about. I'm like, okay. Where Winnipeg wanted to move for a guy like Alexiak, but it never materialized,
Yep.
right? Um, so I find that interesting, because it sounds like at least they were working on it and it just never got to what they might want it to be, or Seattle was maybe more bullish on it than
Hmm.
anything else. So,
Which isn't
um,
surprising given some of the other trades that we've learned about that didn't pan out for
Jesus.
a first round pick.
Um,
Anyway.
yeah. Um, yeah. So you move a decent amount of cap off the books. You
Mm-hmm.
get these draft picks. And as I hammered home on the live, that's five first rounders in the next 3 years, five second rounders in the next 3 years. So 10 picks within the first 2 rounds. That's a lot of ammunition. And from what I understand, the 26 and the 27 drafts are supposed to be pretty loaded with talent. So you've got that. They're not going to trade every single one of them. They're not going to draft somebody with every single one of them. That, and then once we get to the off season, Seattle, uh, barring, Seattle right now, per the Puckpedias, has 21,752,620 dollars in cap space. Okay. They have 10 million right now, which doesn't matter, but
Mm-hmm.
sign Phil Kessel? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, you take that. Oh, that's right. I can do the GM mode on. I like when I can play with the toys. Um, the cap will go up, so that helps them as well. It
Mm-hmm.
helps every other team in the league, but it helps them, right? Oh, I have
Especially with
to.
the housekeeping that they need to do in the off season with
Yep.
uh
Capo,
Kako and
Riker,
yep. And if
some
they
other
want
decisions they could make. Oh, Ty
yeah.
Cartier is up too. Yeah. So some other decisions they could make. So they've
Mm-hmm.
got those picks. Um, and they've got $21 million. Milo, listen up. Cover your ears. Got it? When they buy out Philip Grubauer, right? Because at this point, like he played really good in the Flyers game. Don't
Mm-hmm.
uncover they. Um, it just with how the relationship has been when they send him down to Coachella Valley, like I don't think there's coming back from this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably better he finds somewhere else. I'm sure he'll get some more playing time. There are teams that'll take him. Buy out that contract. That moves you up to 25,669,000 in cap space. Okay. 25 million, even better. You'll have to sign a backup goalie, I think 10 million per year. So that would drop you down to 23, but walk with me, okay? If you trade Andre Burakovsky, that's great, but I would just even buy him out, and that pushes
Mm-hmm.
you up to $29 million, okay? You take out the goalie that you're gonna have to sign, that's like 22 million. Wait, no, 27 million. Sorry, I put the two in the wrong place. Yay, mental issues. Um,
Yay, math.
okay, Milo, you can uncover. You take those contracts, you got like $27 million.
Mm-hmm.
You can sign Capo Caco for 4, 5, probably closer to 4 million AAV. That moves you to 23 million. So you take care of that. Um, take care of Riker Evans, and you're still even after the Evans and the Cartier contact, because I don't imagine Cartier is going to cost much. Like you're still at like 19 mil, let's say, in cap space. That's still a heavy chunk to play with,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got all those draft picks. So they are kind of like the Seahawks right now. Like there's pieces on the current roster that are solid. They've got the ammunition, the resources, the currency, whatever you want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be able to heavily improve that roster. It's all up to whoever's in that front office to do the best thing. You can move Jamie Alexiak if you want and say, hey, oh shoot, no, I just want to do a quick trade. Get him off of my team. I don't know. You'd move 4 million off the books. That makes even more. So the
Mm-hmm.
possibility is there. Ron said when we heard from him, oh, I wish there was an option with this, with the trades to just like simulate a quick trade. Like give me a third rounder, you know?
Yep.
Um, I guess I could do that. Oh wait, okay. I randomly picked the wrong. I picked just the closest team is Vancouver. They don't have their third rounder next year. Give me Utah's third rounder. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't care. Um, submit trade. Jamie Lexiak's gone right now, and this is I haven't signed a backup goalie or Kako or Riker. I've got $33 million in cap space to spend, and I just got a third round pick.
Yep.
Like, I'm saying the point in all of this, right? They have the chance to turn things around. Ron has
Hmm.
said, and this is it's growing more increasingly likely in my mind that he is here next year. I think next year is his make or break year for the ownership group. Um, like retool, okay? I know people are
Hmm.
tired of hearing me say that, but that's just kind of where we are, okay?
Yep.
Roster breakdown, like you realistically do have some solid pieces here. You've got two young
Hmm.
centermen. Maddie's what, 23? Um, Shane's playing really well. He'll be talked about when I get to like my players to look forward to. But okay, I gotta do this again. I deleted my created GM mode, but I get rid of these guys. Um, and like you've still got Dunn Larson up there, sure.
Hmm.
You've got Montour, you've got Riker Evans in there, you've got every forward except for one, two, five, and you're probably calling up a few forwards anyway. You've got to add forward talent anyway, so it's good that you've got the spots. Like they don't need to completely remake this team. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think they need to do it.
I
Like
agree.
I'd keep the Schwartz, Beniers, Kako line together. Tolvin and Stevenson, Everly, sure. McCann, like not touching Jared McCann. Shane Wright, like I'm bumping him up to 2C. Sorry, Stevie. Get fucked. Um, ooh, McCann Wright Everly looks so good. Oof. Um, I will probably fill that out with the rest of my thoughts. Okay. Um, you know, like this is where this team is at, right? You've got to re-sign Kako, Karche, Evans. I'd bring Josh Mahura back. I
Hmm.
mean, he's making basically minimum. Played pretty solid enough. I don't need to add more splashy D-men. I really wouldn't add more splashy D-men, truthfully. Especially since you're going to have anyway Dunn Larson, Evans Montour. You just need bottom pairing guys. And that might include Ville Tavainen, who's in your own system. So
Hmm.
that's cheap, right? Um, so yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of where they're at for me. I'm not super worried about it. This just becomes I kind of want to skip ahead to the
Yeah.
summer and see what they're gonna do. I don't know. How do you feel generally about the trades? Okay. And where they're at.
Feel good about the trades for the most part. Obviously, there's more that I think Ron Francis could have done. But I think that what he did do is fine. Which seems to be kind of the general feelings at this point, like the general consensus. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, good, I guess. And then where they're at now, I'm looking forward to seeing how the team pans out for the rest of the year. Especially knowing that there are going to be a handful of call ups from Coachella Valley. But like you, I really just want to get to the summer and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting. Like I think now I'm just like now I am just like content planning. Like
Mm
maybe we get to the summer, we do a live draft reaction,
hmm.
right?
Mm
We
hmm.
get to do that because I mean, with where they're at right now, we go to the standings. Oh Jesus, the standings are depressing to look at. Um, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're fifth worst team in the league. There's a lottery, so they could move up, they could move down.
Mm hmm.
That like a top five pick though, still typically in a draft is what a generation is not generational, but is an impact player,
Yep.
right? So you've got that in the first round. Oh wait, I gotta go to the Puckpedia, my draft picks. Wait, what?
This is not a super deep draft class either. So,
Yeah, well, and that's why it was interesting, like to not get a bunch of picks for this draft, um,
yep.
because that's kind of the consensus, right? Okay, yeah, one first rounder, two seconds, two fourths, one fifth, and one seventh. I mean, I'll take the one first and the 2 seconds.
Mm hmm.
Like, so you do that. Plus, like again, Ron's made it very clear in what he told us. during the media availability, and he was on the Kraken Hockey Network pregame ahead of the Capitals game, saying that we're going to use these resources to make ourselves this current roster better,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, you know, you've got the ability to do that. Um, so like, I don't know. It makes sense to me. Um, my biggest thing is just who's gonna do it, and we had people who were upset at me. It's like for the 10 of one, it was like, you got a
Mm-hmm.
second rounder in 27. How does that make them better right now? I said, it's not about making them better right now.
And Tanev wasn't making them any better right now either.
No,
What
and
a
if they didn't move him, they would have let him go for nothing,
Yep.
right?
And it's so much
So,
important, especially from a management aspect, to get something in return for a player if you're able to. Truthfully.
sorry, I just saw something on my phone that from Max. So now I've got a Max mention. My favorite Charles flavor is egg. What are we doing? Um, yeah, no. Like I'm listening for now. Like I'm seeing what Ron's doing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing the plan. I get it. Like we'll see when we get
Yep.
there. You know? Um, there are gonna be guys. Oh, and then there were like with the resources, there were people like, "Oh, who's available in trades?" I'm like, every summer there's a. I didn't think Logan Thompson was getting traded, and he's
Mm-hmm.
having like a career year in Washington now, right? There's different teams have their issues as well.
Yep.
Like the Canucks have their issues. Brock Besser, does Brock Besser want to be in Vancouver? You know, like there will be players who sign big contracts in free agency that create cap issues for that team. That's
Mm-hmm.
how Oliver Bjorkstrand ended up here. Johnny Gaudreau signed that deal with the Blue Jackets. They couldn't pay Oliver like that anymore.
Yep.
Had to go. With the Star, like an example of a current situation, the Stars are giving Mikko Rantanen like half of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be really close against the cap. Jason Robertson's deal is coming up soon, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't like this idea that no one's available. Like, I question if, like, who is, because sometimes it's less apparent than others.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, in the off season and closer to the draft, when more trades tend to happen, like, things will happen,
There's
you know?
also, I mean, there's been plenty of instances of sign and trades before too, where you get a player to sign an extension and then immediately trade them,
Yeah.
which isn't super cool, but like that happens. So yeah, I also don't like the idea that there's nobody available. What else is the team gonna do? Yada yada yada, because there's always somebody available. You just have to be willing to give up the asking price, and
Yeah. There are very few players who are truly unmovable.
hmm
We saw that with Mikko Rantanen. Like,
and the Bruins twice now
oh yeah, Jesus
with
Christ.
Olmark and
Yeah,
Marchand.
that's a great example. Thank you. Like,
Yep.
does David Pastrnak want to be in Boston? It might not be us, like, because again, far from Czechia, whatever. Does he believe in the vision of this team? Um, but I don't know if he'll be a Bruin after this year,
hmm
truthfully, right? So,
Even
um,
like Montour is one that I expected to re-sign with
hmm.
Florida, and then
Oh yeah, whoever wins a
years
cup this
later,
year, right?
yeah.
It's hard to keep championship teams together.
hmm
Like, so you look at those top teams, like, well, I saw a graphic the other day that was like, can we just skip to the second round or the like semifinals where it was like Florida, Tampa, Dallas, Winnipeg. I was like, huh, that's not how the playoffs work, obviously. But,
Yeah.
you take those teams, throw in like, oh wait, I can just look up the the top end of the standings where we don't belong. I don't know. I don't buy Washington being that high. I don't think they're winning it. Winnipeg, Dallas, Florida, Vegas, right?
hmm
Um, those guys aren't going to be able to keep everybody.
Yeah.
Not all of them, right? Like, does Kyle Connor still want to be in Winnipeg? Nikolai Ehlers is a free agent. Dallas, already talked about. Florida. I mean, they're still playing well, but you know, if say if they repeat, okay, we
Hmm.
get Panter 2.0. They're not gonna, not everybody, guys win a title, they want to get paid,
Yep.
right? That happens in every sport. Vegas,
Mhm.
how long can Vegas keep putting it together? I asked this last year and they're winning again, you know. Um, God, it was so annoying when they tweeted just hi at the deadline. I said, shut up, shut up. Like we
There
were
was just
all,
panic running through my veins.
a bunch of us were sitting there in this war room waiting for Ron, and someone goes, "Did anyone see that Vegas just tweeted hi?" And I said, "Oh, fuck." Um,
Oh, I feel like
even
this is a really good time to throw in that we won't see any more trades for the rest of the season.
or at least
N-
not impactful ones, right? Because
Yeah,
trades
nothing
can still
crazy.
happen, but they can't play in the playoffs.
Correct. So there might still be like one or two, but typically you don't see any trades after the trade deadline, just in case a team does scrape by making playoffs. And, uh, if I'm living in delusion, I would say that the Kraken still have a chance. They don't. But, yeah, so not likely to see any more trades until closer to the draft
Yeah.
or contract extensions, because same thing, if somebody signs an extension between now and the end of the season, they're not eligible to play in playoffs. Which is kind of crazy that you can't extend your time with a team for 20 more games roughly.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. Thank you for bringing that up because
Mhm.
after we got done talking to Ron went on KJR because the official news station or whatever gets to do what they want. If I go back, excuse me, long enough. Uh, where'd it go? Yeah, I wouldn't call it a rebuild, which I understand. And it's not what they're doing. Again, a rebuild, if it was a rebuild, they would have traded a lot more people, right?
Yeah.
And as much as some people want that to, oh, I got to say this part again. As much as people want it to be a rebuild, with which has now been put in a blanket statement article in the Seattle Times, as we've said for I think since this show began,
Hmm.
they don't have the time to worry about that because of the impending weight of the Sonics, other things like season ticket holders. Like that blanket statement article said that they can sell tickets. We know that. As someone who is on the press, as two people who are on the
Hmm.
press bridge, we can see the empty seats.
Yep.
So they are not like, let's not throw that in there because that's not a for sure statement.
Hmm.
Like I hear from season ticket holders all the time that they're frustrated. They probably won't be signing another deal. Like that's stupid. Don't throw that in there.
Yep.
So let's not act like, yeah, it's some for sure thing. Um, they want to win so they can get this fan base. Fan base, more people equal more money,
Hmm.
right? Following me. So, and with a pretty solid core, I'd say, and some guys who should be ready in the next few years, like they bring in some decent pieces this year, you'll then have waves of talent coming in. In an
Hmm.
ideal world, it doesn't always work out that way with this ideal world idea. But like, I don't think this idea of retooling is the most outlandish thing. It has to be executed properly. But I like, you know, maybe I'm drinking the Ron Francis Kool-Aid a little bit, but like, my point is I can see what they're going for, right?
Yeah, I think drinking it a little bit is okay, but yeah, I don't know. The people online have just been on one since, I'd say, like the week leading up to the deadline. Just trade everybody, break the whole team down, who cares, whatever. And that's also not going to do anything, because if you want results now, if you want the team to start winning and then you enter, we have said this exact same sentence 800 times. I'm not even going to finish it. You all know what I'm going to say.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, it's pretty clear what's going on. Um, you know. So anyway, where are we with Ron? Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's funny that this even needs to be said, but Ron said, We're not looking to save $20 million. We're looking to spend that. We're not looking to cut corners. I'm like, yeah. He said, I think on the Kraken Hockey Network pregame today that they expect to be right up against the cap next year too, as they were coming into this year when they were fully healthy. That's why I thought Tanev would be moved because eventually they wouldn't be able to afford it. And I said, hey,
Hmm.
easy solution. Um, I'm gonna save this one until we get to things we're looking ahead to. And then Francis on Capo Caco, we'll get a deal done with him after the season. So um, I know people keep asking for Ron to make that extension happen. I think we talked about it on this show. Ex like I'm sure he wants to focus on the season and the
Hmm.
fact that he's getting acclimated to a new city, new team, new blah blah
Yep.
blah. And they want to revisit that, you know, when they've got more time to do so. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's the deadline. Unless I miss anything. You got anything?
Nope.
All right, we'll get into games, and I'll kind of go through these because I've watched them all. Um, God, it's so crazy to think that they played 3 games over the past week. Like it does not feel like they did.
Yep.
So the last home game before the deadline, and Brandon Tanev and Yanni Gord's last game before the deadline was the fourth against Minnesota. Yanni Gord had been practicing a lot. Um, excuse me. Without the non-contact, he'd been practicing with the team, and he was activated just like an hour or two before game time. Played in that one. Um, this one was a tough one. I mean, Minnesota is one of the better teams in the West. Um, they got this beautiful green color. You'll notice I'm going to mix some people in here, so please bear with me. Beautiful green color, like I know Kylie likes to wear. Um, I just didn't have good expectations for this,
Yeah.
uh, because of how good Minnesota is, because of how Seattle is, right?
Hmm.
This year. I think my main worry was with how talented Minnesota can be offensively, even without Kirill Kaprizov. I was like, you're gonna get diced up. My biggest disappointment, I think, was not seeing Flower.
I
Those
agree.
bastards.
Yep.
Like I even went to I almost said Florida, the Minnesota morning skate to watch the guy, and I got a great clip out of it. But like,
We wanted to see Flower.
I wanted to see the Flower. Like if I were gonna lose, at least it would be the Flower. No,
Hmm.
no. Um, you got an Adam Larson goal in this one, but Seattle went into the first intermission, sorry, down by 2, which not great. Not happy with that. Um, Seattle was able to respond with a 2-goal second, which was
Hmm.
nice to see, but it came after they had been dug into a hole. Freddie Gaudreau and Matt Zuccarello both scored, to put it to 4-1. And they said, oh, well, this just kind of sucks. Let's just
Yep.
get out of here. Shane Wright scores a power play goal. He continues his lead in power play goals for Seattle this year, which just remarkable, especially for a guy who's largely played on the second unit, which I think we saw a little bit today against Washington. He was actually on the first unit, and I was like, finally, like, why did it take this long? And Brandon Montour had a bomb of a shot for the third goal. Seattle pressed really hard in the third period. No one scored on the third period. Um, and Seattle even held Minnesota just one shot on goal in the third period. Didn't end up
Hmm.
mattering, which is quite sad. Um, that's terrible. So
Yep.
I don't know, like it's not the worst thing in the world. Um, oh God, sorry, I got a text from someone in the NFL that to be ready. Monday is going to be another. It just continues, folks.
It's
There's no
trend.
stop. Anyway, let me get back on track here. I worry about one team after another, right? There was the Nashville game. This game came the day after the Bjorkstrand and the Gord trades.
Yep.
Um, I thought maybe, hey, we're gonna get some positive
Hmm.
after this deadline. It is especially nice to have something going into it.
Yep.
Seattle scored first. Adam Larson it was 32 seconds into the first period, and Adam Larson just kind of chipped a little backhander over UC Saros um on a like kind of a broken like scramble play. And I said, "Oh, really?"
Mm-hmm.
Like big cat, like meow. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it
Big
deep
meal.
enough. Sorry. Meow. Um, and then Phil Forsberg 7 minutes in with a wrister, and I said, ah, shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game with two teams that have largely disappointed this year despite spending good money. I thought Nashville was going to be a cup contender. They have it worse than us, which
Mm-hmm.
is fascinating. Like we've got people. I've been trying to fit other names into here. I don't know if I'm going to fit that name in. Um, like we've had people who get upset when they lose.
Yeah.
I expect it by now. They've been
That's why
worse though.
that's why I always say that if you just go into a game anticipating a loss, then you're always really excited when they pull out with a win.
You did say this. You did say this.
Yep.
So, you know, Brady Shea, Phil Forsberg, and Michael McCarron make up a three-goal second period in this one. Kind of a weird wrister by Shea through some traffic. Phil Forsberg with a deflection. Michael McCarron with a wraparound that kind of jams its way up through Joey. No comments from Kylie, please. Make that two. Please note that. Um, and we go into that third period. I said, shit, again, you're going into a frame, the second half of a game down 4-1, right? Like this team, man, like it just reinforced everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the third period, like somewhat deep into it, 13 minutes into the third period, Jared McCann with the power play goal. I said, oh, the pastor, very nice. Um, and that brought him within two goals. And I said, okay, all right, like you're gonna have to go for the push. Luke Evangelista gets the empty netter, which isn't great. And then in his first game as a Kraken, he still hasn't had a practice. Would you believe that? Like he
No.
still has not had a practice yet. Michael Asamond, um, I think he had the morning skate, which you could count as a practice. The morning skate of the Predators game.
I think Kako had
Um,
a very similar situation when he
yeah,
first Kraken too, where it
yeah.
took like a week for him to get a practice or something.
Well, and especially with this weekend because they played the morning games, so it's
Hmm.
like virtually impossible. With him, I think they had a plane malfunction,
Yep.
so it screwed the travel time up. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Asamont scores this like weird. It was very bizarre. He's like driving straight to the net and he holds his stick out straight and and Josh Maher, of all people, a defenseman, Josh Maher's pass finds him perfectly. One game, one goal. Hey, Michael Asamont.
Yep. That's
Um,
is
yeah, just a disappointing game, especially so considering how how bad the how bad um the f nope, wrong team. How bad the Predators are. Like just flat out disappointing.
yep.
Um then we get into the weekend. We get through the trade deadline, we get to the weekend.
Hmm.
Um, you know, there were a few call-ups in here. Jacob Melanson made his debut against the Flyers, so congrats on the debut. Ben Myers was back up. Yep, that's right. Um, so we got the Asamont Kraken debut and
Hmm.
the Melanson NHL debut all in one game. That's fun, right? Then we go and play the Flyers at some reason, 9:30 in the morning on ABC. Like, who? Don't know. Don't know.
I was so bummed that I slept through that game because I really wanted to go to Pucks and Pancakes or sit at home and watch it, but apparently staying up for almost 24 hours is really not good for you, and you crash for the following 48 hours.
As someone who's done that, both of
Yeah.
those things, the 24 and then the crash, yeah, would not, no, yeah. We're the Sleepy Podcast. Welcome back to the
Hmm.
Sleepy Podcast. Um, yeah, nope, nope, don't do that. I don't know. This game's interesting. This is the Jade Bowl. The Jade and the Miracle Bowl. Please note that we've got a miracle mention. Are you noting these things?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm typing it right now.
Um, it was Philip Grubauer's first start since being recalled. And it's funny. I had been told from someone in the organization that he would be back by the Philly game. So technically, I was right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Groovy.
They gave him a fade too. Would you believe
Yep.
that?
Those turn out so
Shabs
good.
gave him a fade. God bless Shabs.
Agreed.
Sorry, now I'm looking at the thing. The deep, like you've got the back leg straps. Like,
I know it's
golly.
so good.
Um, Owen Tippett scores first. Who Owen Tippett, because he's ginger and because he's painfully pale, I go, he just belongs on the Flyers jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just too much orange in there. Too much orange in there. Um, I was kind of worried. It was a weird goal. Not to take away from Owen, because I mean he's doing the right things. He's going to the net, he's driving the puck.
Fun
But
fact, he can only score weird goals. He's actually like almost incapable of scoring just a regular old goal. They're always weird or funky, or you're like, what? How did you do that? We call it the Owen Tippett effect.
yeah, I mean he's got 19 goals on the year, so he's not
Yeah.
doing something bad per se.
Yeah.
Um, it was a
Agreed.
tough one. It was a really tough one. I, I didn't like that there was a first goal against him. I felt that was tough.
Mm-hmm.
And, Seattle was getting outshot in the first period. I said, this is not going to be good. Like, you're down by a kind of a funky goal. You're on the road.
Yep.
Um, it's a torch team. Like, didn't like that at all. The vibes were middling at the Pucks and Pancakes, partially
Mm-hmm.
because I had woken up late. We had 7 games that day, 7 pro games at like, Um, and then the Kraken decided to wake up, unlike Jade. Uh,
Yep.
Ty Cartier gets a snapshot to score for his fourth goal. I think it was his first since like December. He had gone on that conditioning stint. Conditioning stint, my theory is just that they sent him down for the trade deadline and said, "We'll call you well, you can come back when the deadline's done.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to get Yanni in and Ebbs is gonna be back. There's no room
Yep.
for you. Just go to Coachella Valley." And part of it probably confidence as well, because he performed well down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to score in this game, very nice. Like I'm happy with that. I think it worked. Maddie gets one on a snapshot, that was kind of a weird one. Against poor Sam Erson, big fella, big fella. I do get myself endeared to the Flyers goalies. I just know they've seen the horrors, and yet they
Mm-hmm.
persist, kind of like me.
I was gonna say much
Um,
me too.
hmm,
A lot like me too.
yeah, we have seen the horrors, Jade, yet we persist. Why? I'm gonna ignore that. Um, Oh yeah, and then Chandler Stevenson scores a shorthanded goal on like Seattle's second shorthanded goal of the season. I'm like, what the hell is this period? Like,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who knows the Flyers by association, a 3 goal third period against a fourth liner, a guy who, that Matty Beniers goal was weird. I was like, he probably didn't mean it. And then a shorthanded goal. This is very
Mm-hmm.
Flyers hockey, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like that just kind of made sense to happen, unfortunately. Um, but I mean, I'll take it. Like, at what cost? Yes, but I'll take it. Um, especially weird also to do well on national TV. I don't know how well they do on national TV. I'm sure someone
Mm-hmm.
has the like results on there. But it's nice, 'cause especially as a Seattle team, you kind of fight for relevance, um, especially when you're a newer team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, this Beniers goal is okay. Like, it's unfortunate that it kind of crawled up on Urson, but drove the net, found space, got right into the crease, shot this one right off like his chest. It's just showing the clip of Tortorella looking really intently at the iPad. Oh, John. Yeah, he drives the net. He kind of gets the shot to spin on Urson. I mean, he does the right things, kind of like tip it. I just said it's funky because it kind of crawled through him. Yeah, it's spinning. Yeah, that's why I think it's tough. Um, And then 4 minutes into the third period, Brandon Montour gets his slap shot to go. And I said that one was pretty. I liked that one. Um, just because it was like he had traffic in front. He kind of picked his corner. Um, that one was pretty. I liked that one. Yeah. Okay. And maybe the funniest thing is about this game was the special teams. Um, excuse me. Seattle went 0 for 3 on the power play,
Mm-hmm.
but they were a perfect 5 for 5 on the penalty kill. And every time they went to the box, I said, shit, here we go.
Yep.
Nope, nope. So, no, the Pucks and Pancakes was great. Like, ended up costing me more than I thought. I spent like $40.
Oh
Like,
my God.
goddamn. I know. I like budgeted for like $30. I was like, what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck? Anyway, um, yeah, you're gonna have to jot this down. Miracle was great there. Having another Flyers person to bring Gertz was great. Cameron, and Jan. Oh, and Cube was there as well. So we had a bunch of friends there. We had some other friends. Our friend Megan. I don't know if she listens to the show. She'll be mentioned. Sacha. Um, oh gosh, I forgot my friend's name. I'm saying this as if it's the last game. I kind of wiped the Washington game from memory. Ah, well, yeah, that's fine. Oh, Gabby was there too. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a good atmosphere. I enjoyed it. It was really expensive. Like, goddamn. Like, if you're gonna do a breakfast buffet, like, have the superior like breakfast option between pancakes and waffles. Where are the
Yep.
waffles? Ugh.
I love
Anyway,
waffles.
so they won that one. They get Groovy the win. That's nice. It was his first win in quite a while, at the NHL level. Then they go and
Mm-hmm.
play the Caps, and I just don't have the greatest feeling about playing the top team in the Eastern Conference. They played him pretty decently.
Mm-hmm.
They score in the first. They like Shane Wright goal on a snapshot. It was what was it last week? I think, in Shane's goal against Minnesota, I think it was. Um, Shane like made the whole play happen. Oh no, Shane's assist on Berkey's goal against Minnesota, right? Where Shane like made it all happen and Berkey just kind of was there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Berkey had a really good play on this one, and Shane scored a somewhat easy goal. I was like, oh man, sorry, buddy. Um, so they go into the first intermission. Anytime you go into the first intermission leading the top team in the East on the road, I'd be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then the cap struck. Martin Feravari, on a snapshot jumps into the play, and then Dylan Strome on a wrister. Uh, both of those within the first 3 minutes of the period, and I was like, oh boy, like they've woken up. They probably got yelled at pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, not great.
Yep.
Strome's was goal in his 500th game. Good for him. Um, hmm, trying to see how this one went in. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, through traffic. Yeah, Joey could do nothing about that. Jordan Eberle gets his first goal since his pelvis exploded. Um, on a nice goal, like nice pass from Chandler Stevenson off of a turnover. It was kind of funny to hear Ebbs like shrieking um on the broadcast, like not necessarily the guy I look to for emotion,
Mm-hmm.
truthfully. So nice for him to get one back. Um, mm, 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 mm. Oh yeah, great pass by Stevenson across the ice through the slot. Really good shot. I don't really know how it beat Lindgren. Um, then we got into the third period. There was some mess in this. There was the whole stretch. I think I can find it. Yeah, in the third period. This is about 6.5 minutes into the third. Um, Ty Cartier got a roughing against Duhaime. Tom Wilson got a roughing against Josh Mahura. How did Ty Cartier get a? Okay, Brennan Mahura. Nope. Hmm. Brennan Mahura. Yep.
That's a name.
Yep. Brennan Montour roughing against Carlson. Pierre-Luc Dubois roughing against Michael Eyssimont, Trevor Van Riemsdyk roughing against Sean Hayden, Michael Eyssimont roughing against Pierre-Luc Dubois, Brandon Duhaime roughing against Ty Cartier, John Hayden roughing against Brandon Duhaime, Brandon Duhaime roughing against Ty Cartier, John Hayden misconduct, Brandon Duhaime misconduct. Oh, Anna John Carlson roughing against Brendan Montour. So you could tell it was a mess. Like a bunch of our friends were pretty surprised and like stunned by it. I had said earlier in the game that if there was going to be like a line brawl, it would be the fourth line of Cartier,
Yep.
Hayden, Asamont. Sure enough.
Hmm.
Um, Seattle got a power play out of this, and for the one out of the four times on the day, they went blank on it, which is unfortunate. Connor McMichael scores on a tip in the third, about 16 minutes in, and I could kind of tell when they scored, especially that deep into it, it was
Hmm.
done. Especially against this team. Unfortunately, the guy, I almost said something that was brought up today that I should have said. Blame
Yeah.
Comey for that. Note the Comey mention. Um, Ovechkin gets his empty netter. He goes up to 1,600 career points. Seattle loses by two. So, yeah, that one, like many others, Jade, it's not frustrating that it was a two-goal loss. It's frustrating that they
It
they
didn't.
led, they tied it up, they had the opportunities to go ahead.
Hmm.
They didn't, right?
Yep.
I know you didn't catch a couple of these, but do you have any other takeaways just generally from the week from what you did see?
You said Stevenson had a shorthanded goal on Saturday, right?
Hmm.
He is the only player that has gotten both of the Kraken shorthanded goals this
Oh my
season.
God, are you serious?
Yep. The
That
Kraken only
is,
have two, and Stevenson is both of them.
oh my
The
God.
first one was also Joey Decord's first NHL point. It was on
Oh, yes.
January 14th.
Yep, that's right.
Fun
Okay.
fact.
Wow. I did not
And
know
that was against the
about the
Kraken.
shorty
So that,
though.
or no, that was the Kraken. That was against the Penguins. So that's funny that
Mm,
it's they were both against Pennsylvania teams.
yes.
Couple fun facts.
Hmm. Yeah, a couple
But like,
other ones. If Seattle had won this one, it would have been consecutive days that they would recorded a comeback win for the first time in franchise history. No history there.
yep.
The other one, Shane Wright became the third member of the 22 draft with 20 career goals, falling Logan Cooley. I always forget that Cooley was in that draft. And Uri Slavkovsky. Um, I thought and Jade will know this in the NHL media site. They've got these live updates where they throw in cool stats during the games. Um, One of the pregame ones was that Andre Burakovsky, Philip Grubauer, and Chandler Stevenson won the Stanley Cup in 2018 with the Capitals. And I'm like, okay, th- we knew that. Like,
Mm,
what? Like, why is that? Okay, you know. So, yeah. I mean, there's not too much to take away from these games. Like, I know, I think before the Flyers game, it came out from KGR. Someone must have said it to them, but Jordan Eberle, Brandon Montour, and I think Matty Beniers all had a
mhm.
meeting with the team and said that they expect better from the group. I think it's funny that Matty was there. Like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
You too, buddy.
Yep.
Those other two guys, I understand it. Him,
Hmm.
like if you replace Matty with like Schwartz, sure.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's like this team is so far gone. If, as I said, I think last week, if you thought that they were still in it, I'm sorry. Welcome back to reality.
Hmm.
I don't know where you've been. Um, yeah, I think that we should just go into what we're looking forward to. So this is all this is what you're looking forward to watch with this team through the final 17 games. Can you still hear me normally when I turn it like this?
Yeah. Kind of. It faded out for a second, but it's better
Oh,
now.
nope, we're turning it around. I'm just not gonna mess with it. Um, it could be call-ups. It could be seeing guys, continue to play well. Uh, whatever, So I'll let you think about that while I blab. One guy who it seems pretty apparent that they're going to call up is Yanni Newman. Ron talked about him with us, kind of when he was asked about it after during his availability after the deadline, and then he went on KJR and said it. He was I almost said a roster. Yep, he's on the roster. He was an all-star for the Firebirds this year since Cale Fleury was up with the Kraken during the AHL All-Star break. He I think he leads the Firebirds in goals at 26. I think he's the rookie leader in the in the AHL for goals at 26. Um, you know, good like good body for a forward, nice big body, big forward. And Francis during his availability with KJR said he has a Mikko Rantanen type of shot. And I thought that was funny just considering he had gotten moved that day. I was like,
Hmm.
what are you doing? Like, calm down. I'd like to see Shane Wright continue to play really well, right? Like, sorry, I used Wright twice. Um, I've been really high on Shane since we got the guy. You know, you hear that the character is really good. You know that the talent is really good. And he's been incredible. He's been great for them since he's been healthy scratched. Keep that going. I'd like to see Capo, like he hasn't been quiet. Like he had an assist, I think, over the weekend at least. But I'd like to see him kind of tick up again.
Hmm.
It feels like that 17-10-84 line's been quieter. It's like they were on a great pace, right? And so maybe expecting that. And everybody goes through slumps or quieter moments, right? So holding space for that. But I'd like to see them get going a bit more again. I'd like to see Joey get some more rest. There's no way they're making the playoffs. Let's
Yep.
not break the guy, especially since you know, you've got him on an extension. Like you don't want to break him before it really starts or during it, like, or at all. So
Hmm.
sorry, you know. As much as certain people, Kylie, want to see him, like, be careful. Make
Yep.
that three mention.
Yep.
Um, I'd like to see a D call up. Like, we've got all these forwards, right?
Hmm.
Um, like in that, I'd like to see Ryan Winterton spend some extended time here. Because he's been kind of up and down the last 2 years, right? And I remember starting the Ryan hash. There's a hashtag you can go and look it up. Hashtag Ryan Winterton hype train. I started it during the season last year, and aggregator podcast like started to claim that they were all Ryan Winterton, and they started this fan club. I'm like, don't do that. I know. Um, I'd like to see if he's going to be something because I've seen scouts say he's going to be a top six guy.
Hmm.
Show me, right? You're going to have options as well to, you're going to have options to be on the roster next year as a full-time NHL guy. How much of a look should they be giving you in training camp? We can find out right
Hmm.
now, right? And so to go back to my original point, like if they're going to have D spots open, Ville Altavinen's a guy that I know some scouts are high on. I know RJ, our buddy RJ from Millard City Hockey is high on, and they don't really have a second D um, prospect that's as close as he is, because I love Ty Nelson. He's got a great shot. He's got a great personality. His frame as a D is really small,
Hmm.
and I don't know how ready he is for the NHL level in that regard, right? And then the bunch of them that they've got in the WHL in Dragicevic, in Yugnauth, in is it Hamill, right? Um,
I
like
think
a
so.
bunch Caden Price,
Yeah.
right? Like a bunch of those guys that you've got down there, they're in the WHL. That's
Hmm.
pretty decently far from the NHL level,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of where I'm at with this. And nobody to get fucking hurt. Like,
Hmm.
that's just, so that's where I'm at. Where are you at? Just with
Most
anything
on
you want to see in the last 17.
Yeah, mostly on the same page. I don't I don't know. I would like to see Capo Caco and the whole 17 10 84 line uh get some movement again, like you said. As far as call ups, I do think it's also important to note that they only have four call ups total.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
for the rest of the regular season unless it's an emergency, but you can only have so many emergencies before you start to look a little suspicious. So they've already used one of them, so there's only 3 call-ups left technically. So for anybody listening, that is an important piece of information, but I'm also excited to see, some of the younger guys be able to come up and show what they're capable of doing. And honestly, I'm kind of excited for this season to be over. I think everyone is really tired in this whole season. I think I said this, I'm pretty sure on one of the first episodes that the season had bad vibes before it started, and it's
Yeah.
proven to continue to have really bad vibes. So I'm kind of looking forward for everybody to just get a break.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean,
Joey, that man needs a break.
yeah, you don't want to break the guy. Um, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, especially with how things started with Arizona having their team ripped out of their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Poor Utah having to scramble to put a team together. Like I know even now there are folks that are like visiting Seattle to see how they put a team together
Yep.
because they're doing it on the fly, right?
Yep.
They're still in the playoff chase. So they
Mm-hmm.
could still be playing hockey and they're not fully doing things to their best of their ability, right? And that's no knock on them. They were put in this position. Like, I don't blame the people of places that get teams that were recipients of places that had them ripped out. I blame the
Yep.
folks who did it, so the NHL, and wait, yeah, no, the folks who did it. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I was going with that. You know, so um yeah, that like we've had some pretty wild injury like oh yeah, Drew Doughty, a few other guys getting injured in the preseason. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
um Jordan Eberle goes down early into the season. Yanni Gord misses a good chunk of time. Vince Dunn misses a good chunk of time. Um, yeah, it's yeah.
I'm
So
excited to see where the season ends.
yeah, don't get me wrong. Like my favorite tradition the last few years in the Mariners press box has been seeing how many people during the Stanley Cup playoffs have hockey on their
Mm-hmm.
screens because it's a lot. Like I remember a few years ago, like looking around and I'm like, yep, 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 yep.
Yep.
Like it's fun,
I'm
man.
uh guilty of being at Mariners games with some sort of hockey game on my phone too. So,
Yeah, and I mean even like it won't even be that long of an off season because we'll have the draft. We'll have
mm-hmm.
free agency. Um, I'm sure we'll be doing stuff for that too. Like, who knows what they'll like. Obviously, again, the intention for them to be is to be busy, so
Yep.
we'll probably have to a lot to do. In addition to the stuff that the CSS will already be doing in the spring and summer. Um, oh Jesus, I'm so tired. I'm pre-tired.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's free agency, there's the draft, there's
Rookie camp.
rookie camp, dev camp, training camp. There's the preseason showcase thing with the Canucks.
Mm-hmm.
So we will not be far, folks.
Yeah.
Um ooh, interesting. All right. Let me get through. Did you have anything last call before I get to the schedule ahead?
Nope. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So, 3 games this upcoming week. 3-game homestand. How wonderful. The only not wonderful thing is that one of the games starts at 7:30. How ungodly. Um, the team is off today by the time you see this, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have practice on the 11th. I don't know if that is let me look up if that's an open practice. See, because I say these things that you and I can go to, and then people might think that they can go to. Nope, it's
Mm-hmm.
not. Sorry, do not come. Uh,
None for you guys.
Um, oh God, my computer's being weird. So it's got all the practice schedules listed while I'm trying to scroll on the. I broke it. Hello? Hello? There we go. Um, Yeah, they've got that practice on Tuesday. Wednesday, the 12th, they host the Montreal Canadiens. That's a 7:30 start. And I heard on the broadcast today, John Forsland goes, "Thank you to our Canadian friends for bringing their broadcast and pushing back the puck drop." And I'm like, "Oh, sassy John."
Yep.
All right. So that game, normal game on Kraken Hockey Network, King 5 Kong. This is There are two things happening on this game. It is Joey Daccord bobblehead night. So if you got your Philb, where's your Philb? He's probably
He's
hiding.
on my bookshelf over there.
Yeah, too busy. Okay, that's fair. You can get your Philb and you can get your Joel and you can make them stand together and you can recreate the scene from SpongeBob where he's got the napkin, the chip, and the penny. The
Hmm.
gang's all here. That's what I've been doing all day, as testament to the group chat. First 10,000 fans in, presented by the Kraken Hockey Network, which I didn't even notice on this one. He's on the side there. Like
Oh,
that
cool.
logo's nice.
Hmm.
These ones, not so much. Um, so there's that giveaway. It's also Scout Night on on the 12th. I don't know what like they're doing for Scout Night. It just shows like a cool like ship logo on it.
Interesting.
I don't like usually there's a giveaway with it. Like there's
Hmm.
for the like women in hockey night, it's the bag like they've been doing with the other like Kraken common threads. Irish Heritage Knife is a nice like green scarf. The Union Night, there's a hat. Scout Nights like oh, it must be a patch. The Girl Scout.
Oh,
Wow.
yep. That makes sense.
Big brain. I'm so fucking dumb. Uh Friday they host Utah. They host the Utahns, the Soakers. Uh that's also on the Kraken Hockey Network, King 5 at Kong. 7
I
o'clock
just
start.
thought said that.
Hmm?
It just processed what you said.
Mm-hmm. That is Women in Hockey Night. So if you buy your tickets, if you go to the tickets website, right, you go to the Kraken website, you click tickets, and you go to group tickets and promotional nights. We'll link it in our preview. I'll make sure to do that.
Hmm.
You can, if you buy a ticket through that link, you will be able to go and redeem this cool tote bag that's got the Women in Hockey Night design on it, the S and the anchor. So if you want that, go do that. Um, and I'll give away it's right. And then the 16th against Winnipeg on Sunday, the Peggers are coming to town.
God.
Um, oh, and Brandon Tanev, Jesus Christ.
Yep. So that'll be his
Oh, his
uh
return game.
yeah. I was gonna say reunion, but that I
Yeah.
guess that works, but that's not.
That's a 6 o'clock start. It's a Sunday, so they opt for the 6 o'clock start. That's on the Kraken Hockey Network and Kong. That is Irish Heritage Night. Oh, it's at capacity. So if you wanted tickets for the special Kraken Irish scarf, you can't have it because enough Irish people are going.
None for you.
So the ginger and the Irish and the green make that four. Kylie mentions Jade. Make that
Got it.
four. Um, and we'll throw another one in for Milo since we keep showing this guy. The only thing I want to say before we get out of here is that I find it interesting, not in a bad way, like I'm curious genuinely, what the fan appreciation item will be on April 15th versus the Kings, because there's nothing listed there. Also, in case you're not aware, I'll make this its own post, like on our Twitter or something. But further Shabs praise, I usually throw the boxes away, but like the detail, like the using the Groovy jump picture is great. Um, the facts on the side are great. The number on the inside is great. So you look at all those things, right? And I'm kissing ass, right? I looked at the bottom, and someone on Reddit posted this, right? But you can see
Hmm.
there 4/15/25, right? That's the last game of the year at home. They host the Kings at 7:30 p.m. That's on ESPN now, currently. They could change it, but it says 17:45. If you're not familiar with military time, that's too much for your big bad head. It's 5:45.
Yep.
What's gonna happen? I don't know.
I've also been very intrigued about that.
Yeah. So,
And I know that last year's fan appreciation night giveaway was the little like Lululemon Dupe crossbody bags. I think I have one hanging up over there, but I'm not gonna get up and grab it. But it had like the little anchor logo on it. So,
Oh yeah.
and then ironically, the first game of the year this year, Climate Pledge security staff almost decided that it was too big to fit in.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which I sometimes forget that that happened, and then I remember that I went to a concert at Climate Pledge shortly after or right before the beginning of the season, something like that, and they were like, "You can't bring this in," and I was like, it's literally Kraken branded,
You
so
guys gave this away.
yeah, they are allowed in. But anyways, so that was last year's giveaway, just to give people an idea of what it could be this
Yeah.
year.
I'm curious, especially with the sort of timestamp there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shabs is obviously has something planned. Like I tried to ask, I was like, "Hey, what is it?" She's like, "Can't tell you." I said, "Okay." So there's that. After that, they'll go on a 4 game road trip, including nope, a back-to-back first game at Chicago, and then they play Minnesota again. Um, so yeah. All right. Well, until Gert and I see you next time. Next week, Jade and I can do this together.
Yep,
Um,
I'll have my Gert.
Dude, can you do me a favor?
Hmm.
You will have to send this to our friends. They will be part of our exit today.
Okay,
Um,
I'm scared.
is your phone ready?
Yeah.
Are you recording?
I can't. Okay, yeah.
Until Gert and I see you later with shout outs to, I gotta remember this, to Milo, Kylie, Miracle, Lillian, Yan. Happy birthday, Yan. It is Yan's birthday. Yan is friend of the show. I gotta go down the list here so I don't piss anybody off. Lele, yes, Ethan, Brooke, Cameron, Oswin, Chrissy, Cube, Abby, Cosette, Belligerent Bill Biergen, Carly, um, Mars, and Comey. Until we see you next time, take care of yourselves, be well, and do whatever you can to make today a daddy long dick day.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, where are you going to watch all those Kraken away games?
Cracking away games, making a push. I was thinking of coming here just because Rough and Tumble is the home of circling Seattle sports, only if that's okay with you.
I mean, I love that idea. Hope to see you here.